February 2022, when Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, almost no one outside the US military knew this fact. For nearly 30 years, the California National Guard had been quietly training Ukrainian troops. They taught them how to fire Javelin and Stinger missiles. They taught them NATO standards. They taught them how a modern army defends itself. When the war began, those weapons and that training showed up on the battlefield within weeks. That was not a coincidence. It was a program. A small, low-budget, almost invisible US program called the State Partnership Program. And on April 15, 2026, that same program took to the skies over Clark Air Base in the Philippines. The aircraft was a Philippine Air Force S-70I Black Hawk helicopter. In the cockpit sat two pilots. One was Philippine Air Force Lieutenant Colonel John Paul Delgado, commander of the 210th Tactical Training Squadron. The other was U.S. Army Major John Worthington of the Hawaii Army National Guard, an aviation standardization pilot. The rotors spun up. The aircraft lifted off. It looked like a normal training flight. It was not. It was only the second time in history that a Hawaii Army National Guard aviator had co-piloted, operated, and flown inside a Philippine rotary wing aircraft. Two militaries, one cockpit, same controls, same mission. To understand why this small flight matters so much and why Beijing is paying attention, you have to understand the full story behind it. The official name is the Rotary Wing Subject Matter Expert Exchange. The shorter version, pilots, mechanics, and crew chiefs from both countries showed up at Clark Air Base from April 13 to 17, 2026 to learn from each other. The Hawaii Army National Guard sent its aviation experts. The Philippines sent members of the 205th Tactical Helicopter Wing. Together, they worked on three things: flying, fixing, and fighting. First, the flying. Hawaii pilots sat in the right seat of Philippine Black Hawks and flew real missions, not as guests, but as co-pilots. As Major Worthington said after one flight, "It is an absolute privilege to share the same flight deck and fly with my brothers and sisters in the Philippine Air Force. Together, our pride, professionalism, and linked cultures have laid the foundation for our partnership, strengthening integrated deterrence through our bilateral training." Second, the fixing. Both sides compared notes on the H-60M Black Hawk variant, logistics, repair processes, standard procedures. The goal: if a Hawaii crew lands at a Philippine airbase tomorrow, they should plug right into the local maintenance system. Third, the fighting. The Philippine Air Force recently bought a new weapon, the M134D Minigun, a heavy, fast-firing system designed to mount on a helicopter door. Filipino crews had little experience with it. So U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Austin McConnell of the Hawaii Air National Guard, who knows the M134D inside out, ran hands-on training sessions for them. This is what military exchanges actually look like. No press conference. No giant banner. Just two crews building real skill at the same time. To understand why a Hawaii Guard pilot was sitting in a Filipino Black Hawk that morning, you have to go back to the year 2000. That year, the United States Department of Defense launched the very first state partnership program in the Indo-Pacific. The pairing was Hawaii and the Philippines. "25 years later, it is still the longest-running state partnership in the region. As Major General Stephen Logan, the Adjutant General of Hawaii, said during the 25th anniversary celebration at Clark Air Base in September 2025, this 25-year partnership is the first and longest continuous state partnership in the Indo-Pacific. It's a quarter century of steady engagement, cooperation, and deep friendship. The numbers are striking. Over those 25 years, Hawaii and the Philippines have done more than 400 official engagements covering cyber defense, air defense, disaster response, medical readiness, and aviation training. There is also a cultural layer that makes it work. Hawaii has one of the largest Filipino-American communities in the United States. Many soldiers in the Hawaii National Guard have direct family ties to the Philippines. When they fly to Clark Air Base, they are not strangers showing up. They are family coming home. Even Filipino boxing legend Manny Pacquiao, who serves as a colonel in the Philippine Army Reserve, attended the 25th anniversary in September 2025. The State Partnership Program is one of those rare government efforts that punches far above its weight. It started in 1993 with 3 pairings: Maryland with Estonia, Michigan with Latvia, and Pennsylvania with Lithuania. The original goal was to help newly independent countries that had just escaped the Soviet Union build modern, democratic militaries. Today, it covers about 100 countries on every continent except Antarctica. Here is the most surprising number.
There is nothing more important than family, and for those of us in uniform, family makes our service possible.
According to General Daniel Hokanson, former chief of the National Guard Bureau, the program enables somewhere between 1/4 and 1/3 of all U.S. security cooperation. Engagements around the world while using just 1% of the security cooperation budget. 1% of the money, 1/3 of the relationships.
Ukraine and the United States of America.
The Ukraine case is the textbook example. The California National Guard partnered with Ukraine in 1993, just 2 years after Ukraine became independent. For nearly 30 years, California Guardsmen quietly trained Ukrainian soldiers in NATO standards and in weapons like Javelin and Stinger missiles. When Russia invaded in 2022, those weapons and that training were ready. Many analysts believe that long, quiet partnership helped Ukraine survive the first months of the war. That is the lesson Manila has clearly internalized. Real deterrence is not built in a single drill. It is built in 25 years of quiet visits, shared meals, and joint cockpits. A helicopter exchange might sound like a small thing. In normal times, it would be. But these are not normal times in the West Philippine Sea.
This year, over 17,000 personnel from the Philippines, the United States, and from our partner nations, Australia, Canada, France, Japan, New Zealand, and let me also add, the United Kingdom. We stand shoulder to shoulder in this exercise.
Just days after the Clark exchange ended, the much bigger Balikatan 41 2026 exercise kicked off across the Philippines. That drill brought together more than 17,000 troops from 7 nations. American HIMARS rockets fired into the South China Sea. Japanese forces prepared to launch a live anti-ship missile in a foreign drill for the first time. Filipino, US, Australian, and New Zealand troops fought a mock beach defense at Apurawan in Palawan. All of this happened in the same window of April 2026. None of it was an accident. In fact, the helicopter exchange ran on the same airbase.
This is in preparation for us in the future in acquiring multi-role fighter aircraft, much capable multi-role fighter.
In the same days as another major U.S.-Philippine air exercise, Cope Thunder 26-1. That drill ran from April 6 to 17, brought 20,800 personnel together, and featured an aerial training engagement between the Philippine Air Force's FA-50 fighter jets and U.S. Pacific Air Force's F-22 Raptors.
Security is not the concern of one, but the responsibility of many. This year's exercise focusing on enhancing combat readiness and elevating joint mission effectiveness with clear objectives. And that is to train hard, think forward, and operate as one.
So while Filipino and Hawaiian helicopter crews were learning each other's controls, F-22 Raptors and FA-50s were dancing in the sky over Luzon. While Filipino mechanics were learning the M134D Minigun, U.S. Marines were practicing missile shootdowns over the West Philippine Sea. Each piece is small on its own. Together they form a picture of an alliance that is layered, working, and quietly accelerating. Major Worthington used a specific phrase when he talked about the cockpit exchange. He said it was strengthening integrated deterrence. That phrase is not casual. It is the official U.S. defense strategy in the Indo-Pacific. The 2022 U.S. National Defense Strategy laid it out clearly. Integrated deterrence means weaving together every tool a country has. Alliances, training, technology, posture even. Disaster relief. Into a single web that makes any attack on a partner too costly to be worth trying. Helicopter cross-training fits that web in three ways. It builds skill, so Filipino and American crews can fly together immediately when a real crisis hits. It builds standards, so both forces can support each other anywhere in the region. And it builds trust, the rarest item in any alliance. That is why the second ever instance of a Hawaii pilot flying inside a Filipino aircraft is more important than it sounds. There is one more layer that often gets missed in defense reporting.
I think there is, if ever there is.
Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. has been pushing what he calls functional replication of reserve forces. In simple words, he wants Filipino reservists, part-time citizen soldiers, to be ready to perform like full-time active soldiers. The Philippines does not have the population or the budget for a huge standing army, so it has to make its reserve force much stronger. The Hawaii National Guard is one of the best models in the world for exactly that. Guard soldiers in the United States have civilian jobs and weekend training, but they deploy on real missions, fly real aircraft, and respond to real disasters. They are exactly the kind of force the Philippines wants to build. As Major General Logan said at the anniversary, through hundreds of exchanges, our guardsmen embody bayanihan, unity and friendship. This reflects the strong people-to-people and security ties between the United States and the Philippines. Bayanihan is a Filipino word for community spirit, neighbors helping neighbors lift something heavy. In military terms, that is exactly what is happening at Clark Air Base. step back, and the Clark Air Base helicopter exchange tells us three big things about where the Indo-Pacific is heading. First, the United States is investing in long-term relationships, not just big-dollar weapon sales. A 25-year partnership produces something a missile system cannot: instinct. When a Hawaii pilot and a Filipino pilot share the same cockpit on a normal Tuesday, that is years of cultural and professional alignment paying off. Second, the Philippines is no longer waiting passively. Its Air Force is buying new weapons like the M134D minigun. Its Army and Marines are training in counter-landing drills. Its missile units are firing BrahMos for the first time. Partnerships like the Hawaii Guard Exchange give it the human skill to use the new hardware properly. Third, the message to Beijing is layered. Big drills like Balikatan grab the headlines, but the smaller exchanges, like a Hawaii pilot flying with a Filipino squadron commander, quietly build the connective tissue that holds an alliance together year after year. China can see the headlines. It cannot easily see the trust. The Philippines will sit in some of the most contested waters on Earth for the rest of this decade. That reality will not change. What can change is whether Manila stands alone or stands inside a network. The April 13th 17 Rotary Wing Exchange was a small 5-day event held by a small training squadron at one airbase. It will not be a top story on the evening news. It will not appear on Chinese surveillance dashboards as a major threat. But the alliance that protects the Philippines is not built only by the loud events. It is built by people, by pilots learning each other's switches, by mechanics swapping repair tricks over coffee, by instructors patiently walking new gunners through a minigun. By 25 years of typhoons faced together and friendships maintained over thousands of miles of ocean. The story of the California Guard in Ukraine reminds us how this works. A quiet partnership, built over decades, can become the difference between collapse and survival when the war finally arrives. That is the quiet engine of the U.S.-Philippine alliance. And on April 15, 2026, that engine took off from Clark Air Base with 2 flags painted on the same fuselage and 2 pilots reading the same instruments. Sometimes the biggest stories in geopolitics begin with the quietest takeoffs.